The Galactic Council's message appeared in every sky. In cities and villages, people stopped and stared at the glowing shapes forming above them. The light wasn't like anything from Earth. It shimmered, almost alive, and spoke in a voice that was not human, but still somehow understood. The message was simple. The galaxy was dangerous, and Earth was small. They offered protection, fleets, and shields to keep humanity safe from what they called the endless predators of the stars. At first, people felt fear. The Council's images showed giant warships, battles between unknown species, and planets burned to ash. Everyone could feel the weight of those battles. Earth had only just begun to send ships beyond the moon, and now the truth was clear. The galaxy had been busy for millions of years, and humans were late arrivals. On screens, the alien ambassadors looked calm, almost kind. They promised no control, only safety. Their fleets would patrol near Earth. Their stations would watch for danger. All they asked was a little cooperation. In the great meeting hall of the United Earth Government, the air was heavy. Leaders from every nation sat around a long table. Some whispered urgently, others sat frozen. On the main wall, the alien faces waited, shimmering like ghosts. The oldest member of the council spoke. Skin was pale silver, his eyes like glass, and his voice echoed strangely. "Humans," he said, "you are clever but fragile. You will not survive the galaxy alone. We offer you what many others accepted, our protection." The council expected gratitude. They were used to weaker species agreeing at once. But the president of Earth did not answer right away. She was a calm woman, her eyes dark and sharp. She had listened without speaking for the entire broadcast. When the council finished, she leaned forward. Her voice was quiet, but carried across the hall. "Your fleets are large," she said. "Your shields are strong. But we do not want patrols over our world. We do not want your stations in our orbit. We only want one thing." His council members shifted in their seats, curious. "And what is that?" the silver-skinned elder asked. "One ship," the president said. "Give us one of your warships." The alien ambassadors exchanged strange looks. Some laughed softly. "One ship?" one of them repeated. "Single vessel cannot protect your planet." "It is not for protection," the president replied. "It is for something else." The council pressed her for details, but she said no more. Around Earth, people were confused. Some thought she had made a mistake. Others felt something hidden in her words. The council finally agreed, but only because they thought it harmless. They would send an old, decommissioned battleship, one that could no longer keep up with modern fleets. To them, it was a useless gift. Weeks later, a shadow appeared in Earth's orbit. The alien ship was enormous, longer than any human city. Its hull was marked with scars from old battles. Its weapons were silent. The council's message followed it. "We honor your request. This vessel is yours. Use it as you wish." Earth celebrated, but in the government halls, plans had already begun. The ship was moved to a hidden dock, far from cameras. No alien was allowed inside. Engineers and scientists worked day and night. The council tried to watch, but strange metal hangars rose around the ship, blocking all scans. Satellites that came too close suddenly failed. The president gave no public speech. She only told the people, "It will take time, but this ship will serve a purpose greater than anyone can imagine." Her words spread quickly, feeding the rumors in. The council's chambers far away. Some members began to wonder if they had made a mistake, but they comforted themselves with old logic. Humans were new to the stars, still learning. What could they possibly do with one broken ship? They didn't know the truth. They didn't know what humanity was building inside the hangars. They had no idea that the first time this ship moved again, the galaxy would never be the same. Somewhere deep inside that silent vessel, lights flickered on for the first time in decades. Systems woke up. Metal shifted like a sleeping giant stretching after a long rest. The engineers smiled at each other. They didn't see a broken alien warship. They saw a foundation, a beginning. In the dark, the hum of power grew louder. And for the first time, the ship's new name was whispered. Not even the council would hear it until it was too late. The ship stayed hidden for months. From orbit, it looked like nothing had changed, just an alien relic drifting in Earth's shadow. But under the cover of massive steel hangars, humans were working faster than ever before in their history. Inside the hangars, Alien technology was stripped away, replaced with human-made systems. Engineers moved like ants over the ship's surface, welding, cutting, testing. Scientists studied every wire, every plate of armor. Learning how the alien warship had once lived and breathed, the council kept sending messages asking for progress reports. The president always gave the same answer. The ship is undergoing repairs. It will take time. This answer was true, but not complete. Repairs were not the only thing happening. New weapons were being designed. Weapons no alien had ever seen. The energy core was replaced with something the aliens would never have approved. A human-engineered reactor that burned hotter than anything in the council's fleets. Spies were sent, disguised as traders and researchers, trying to get close. To the hidden dock, none returned. One ship vanished completely after crossing into restricted space. The council was concerned, but they still underestimated Earth. They are curious creatures, silver-skinned elder told the others. But in the end, one ship cannot matter. Inside the hangar, the ship's transformation was almost complete. The alien control systems had been replaced with human interfaces, simple, direct, and brutally efficient. The old plasma cannons were removed, replaced with new railguns that could launch solid metal projectiles faster than light. Stealth plating now covered the hull, making the ship almost invisible to scans. And deep inside, engineers whispered about the most dangerous addition, a weapon that even they spoke of in quiet tones. One night, during a test, the ship's engines roared to life for the first time under human control. The sound was like a storm trapped inside a metal cage. The walls of the hangar shook, and the sea outside churned from the force. Every engineer stopped to listen. They knew they had made something alive. Outside Earth's orbit, a council patrol ship watched the activity from a distance. Its commander sent one last report before its signals went silent forever. Back at the council's capital, they read the unfinished message. The human ship is different now. It does not look and then nothing. The president visited the ship in secret, walking the long corridors. The crew, handpicked from Earth's best pilots and soldiers, saluted as she passed. She placed her hand on the new control panel on the bridge and said only one thing: be ready. No one outside the hangar knew what for, but the first test of the ship would not be a quiet one. And somewhere in deep space, a threat was already moving toward Earth. A threat the Council had not mentioned. The humans would meet it first, and the galaxy would watch. The threat came without warning, in the cold black between the stars. Pirate armada drifted toward a small human colony on the edge of settled space. These were not simple raiders. Their ships were spiked with armor scavenged from 100 conquests, their hulls painted with the symbols of worlds they had burned. They had no fear of the Council, and they didn't even know what humanity had been building. To them, Earth was just another week. New species waiting to be robbed. The colony was unprotected. No defense platforms, no warships, only cargo freighters and a handful of old shuttles. In the control tower, the colony governor sent distress signals to the Council, to Earth, to anyone who could hear. The Council received the message but sent nothing. They had already judged the colony as beyond their defensive zone. Them, it was not worth the cost. On Earth, however, the signal reached a secure channel. In the hidden dock, the president stood on the bridge of the newly reborn warship. She listened in silence as the governor's voice crackled through the speakers, breaking into static between words. Pirate fleet, heavy weapons, families, no escape. The captain of the ship, a man with deep scars along his jaw, turned to her orders. She looked out at the stars through the forward window. Launch, she said. The massive hangar doors opened for the first time. Sunlight spilled across the ship's black hull. Without fanfare, without public announcement, the engines roared to life, and the ship lifted into space.
Oh.
From the surface below, only a few lucky onlookers saw it rise, a shadow cutting across the bright blue sky. The journey to the colony took hours. The crew stayed silent, each one focused on their station. The captain studied the sensor readings. The pirate fleet was already in orbit around the colony, sending landing craft toward the surface. The colony's distress beacon was weakening. When The human warship dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The pirates laughed. On their scanners, it was just one ship large. Yes, but alone. Their leader, a hulking alien with tusks like curved blades, ordered his ships to destroy it. The first volley of pirate fire never reached the human ship. Shields shimmered briefly, absorbing the energy without effort. Then the human ship moved. Not in a slow, heavy glide like most warships, but in sudden, impossible bursts. Changing position faster than the eye could track, railguns fired. Solid metal slugs, invisible to the naked eye, tore through pirate hulls like paper. The pirates tried to retreat, but the human ship was faster. It hunted them one by one, appearing behind fleeing vessels and cutting them apart. With precision fire, within minutes, the space around the colony was silent again, silent except for the human ship, floating alone among the drifting wreckage. The captain sent one message to the colony below: "You are safe. Do not speak of what you saw." Then the ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving nothing but debris behind. Across the galaxy, the pirate clans whispered in fear about a ghost ship that came from nowhere, destroyed fleets, and disappeared without trace. The council heard these rumors but dismissed them as nonsense. Only the humans knew the truth. This was just the first test. The galaxy hadn't seen what the ship could really do. Word of the ghost ship spread. Faster than any official news, pirates told the story in hushed voices, their fear making the tale grow with each retelling. Some claimed it could vanish into shadows. Others swore its weapons could cut through planets. No one agreed on the details, but one thing was certain. Wherever it appeared, enemies died quickly in the council chambers. The silver-skinned elder frowned as he read intercepted reports. Coincidence, he told the others? One ship cannot unbalance the galaxy. Still, he quietly ordered more patrols near human space. If the ghost ship was real, he wanted to see it with his own eyes, back on Earth. The ship's crew was silent about what had happened. Even in private, they spoke little. They'd seen what their creation could do, but they knew the pirates had been nothing more than a warm-up. The engineers returned the ship to dock and immediately began installing upgrades, more stealth, plating, faster tracking systems, and something entirely new, an experimental jump drive. This drive wasn't just for faster travel. It was designed to bend space in ways no alien technology had ever done, allowing the ship to appear anywhere without warning. The tests were dangerous. In one trial, the ship vanished for several minutes and the crew feared they had lost it. Forever. When it returned, its hull was coated in a thin layer of strange frost that melted into nothing in seconds. While the upgrades continued, news arrived from deep space. A council exploration fleet had gone missing. No distress calls, no debris. They were simply gone. Officially, the council blamed unknown raiders. Privately, some suspected the ghost ship. Others whispered that something older, something worse, was moving in the dark. One night, the president stood alone on the dock, looking up at the towering hull. The captain approached. "You think they'll come for us?" he asked. "They already have," she replied. "They just don't know it yet." Far from Earth, a council scout ship finally caught a glimpse of the human warship during a jump. Test, it sent a burst of sensor data before vanishing from all records. The only part of the message that survived was a single, broken sentence. Not the same ship. Alive. The council demanded answers. Earth gave none. And in the shadows between stars, the ghost ship prepared for its next hunt. One that would take it straight into the heart of enemy space. The next hunt began with silence. Coded message arrived on a secure Earth channel, not from a human source, but from a frightened alien merchant far beyond council territory. His convoy had stumbled across something terrifying, an entire star system emptied of life. The planets were still there, their cities intact, but no bodies, no signs of battle. Everything was just gone. The council ignored the report, claiming it was a hoax. But the president read the merchant's words twice, then ordered the ghost ship to prepare for departure. She didn't tell the crew everything she knew, only that the source was reliable and the mission urgent. The ship left Earth under a moonless sky, sliding into the dark like a predator leaving its den. No broadcasts, no transponder signal. Just a shadow in the void. The new jump drive engaged, and the stars blurred into nothing. When the ship reappeared, they found the merchant's story had not been exaggerated. The system was eerily silent. Scanners picked up no power signatures, no movement. On one planet, towers still stood, their lights frozen mid-flicker, as if someone had pressed pause on reality. The crew moved cautiously. Then the sensors found something, a faint, unnatural pulse coming from the system's edge. The captain ordered the ship toward it. As they closed in, the shape came into view. A massive vessel, unlike any council or pirate design. Its sea hull was blacker than the void, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. It didn't move, didn't send a signal. But every instinct on the bridge screamed danger. Without warning, the black ship turned toward them. It didn't accelerate, it simply was far away one moment and closed the next. As if space itself had bent, the captain's hands hovered over. The controls? Weapons? Not yet, the president's voice said over comms. She was in her private war room on Earth, watching through the ship's feeds. We need to know what it is first. The black vessel's surface rippled, and the sensors spiked. Something invisible struck the ghost ship's shields, draining them faster than any weapon the crew had seen. The captain gave the order. Railguns roared. Metal slugs ripped into the black hull, but the wounds closed instantly, as if the ship were healing. Realizing brute force would fail, the captain engaged the jump drive. The human ship flickered and vanished, reappearing at the far side of the system. For a moment they thought they had escaped, till the black ship appeared. Directly in front of them again, only one option remained. The captain activated the experimental weapon deep in the ghost ship's core. The lights dimmed, the air crackled, and a single shot fired. No flash, no explosion, just a silent ripple through space. The black vessel froze, motionless. Its lights went dark. The crew didn't wait to see if it would recover. Drive flared, and they were gone. Back on Earth, the president reviewed the battle logs. Her expression was grim. That wasn't a pirate, she said quietly. That was a hunter. And it knows we exist now, somewhere far away in the dark. The black ship's lights flickered back to life. The human ship moved like a shadow across the map of the council. It did not run from the hunter. It went to the hunter's heart. The captain set a course for the council capital system. He did not tell anyone outside the bridge. Then pressed it. Approved in a single short message, go. The ship's crew felt the weight of that one word. They knew they were walking into the place that had judged them weak and offered help like charity. Now Earth would show what it had made. The closer they came, the more signals they saw. The capital system was full of light and noise diplomatic beacons, patrol routes, trader lanes. The council had many eyes and many ears. A small mistake could bring dozens of fleets on them at once. The captain smiled without joy. Stealth, he said. The pilot replied, stealth ready. The engines pulsed, and the ship became a black. Cut in the bright field of stars, when the ship dropped out near the capital, sensors around the system lit up. Council posts blinked red. 100 ships turned their heads to see what had arrived. It was one ship that none of them expected to be dangerous. It was the ship that had been a gift until now. No alarm calls came from the human ship. Instead, its long-range transmitter warmed and opened a single channel to every council frequency. It did not speak in council formalities. It did not beg. It did not hide. It spoke in clear words, a simple voice that had been trained to carry. Across alien noise and alien tongues. This is Earth, the voice said. We do not want your protection. The council froze. Ships held position. Monitors in the great chamber filled with the human face of the president, seen live from a place the council thought only their ships reached. She looked tired but steady. Her words were soft, but each one hit like a bell. We asked for one ship, she continued. You gave us pity in mirrors. You took what you offered and made it ours. We asked for one chance to learn. He called. That's small. You were wrong. The message did not threaten, and yet it moved like a shadow through the crowd. Outside, some council members laughed at first, then their laughter died. They could not see the human ship's weapons. They could not trace the new jump drive, only saw the track marks of things it had destroyed. Rumors of the ghost ship were now live proof. The president spoke again. We do not seek war with you. We will not take your stations. But we will not be your ward. If any force moves toward Earth or any world we care for, we will answer. We will show you what it costs to touch a free world. A silence fell over the Capitol. It was the kind of silence that comes before thunder. Council tried to reply with legal words about treaties and boundaries. No, the president cut them off. Her final line was simple, almost calm. Protect yourselves, she said, or be protected by us. Then the channel closed. 100 ships rushed forward at once. The human ship had planned for that, slipped through a fold, and vanished. Before any fleet could catch it, in its wake, it left shocked fleets and a council that could no longer pretend humanity was small. The message lodged like a stone in the heart of their authority. Back on Earth, people watched the feeds with mouths open. Some cheered. Some feared what would come next. The president did not celebrate. She stood in her room looking at the silent sky and thought about the hunter they had touched. Something out there had noticed now. The black ship had not acted alone. It had family, or friends, or tools waiting in deep dark places. Far away, in hidden places where bargains are made and old powers sleep, the signal reached ears that had been quiet. They listened. The words from Earth had changed the rules. The galaxy stirred. On the bridge of the human ship, the captain turned to his crew. We gave them a warning, he said. Not a threat. His voice was steady. But warnings have. Wait, they will choose how to carry it. Outside, the starfield moved. The hunter in the dark woke and looked toward a small blue world that had only ever asked for one dangerous gift. The game had changed. The council sat in silence, and the rest of the galaxy began to whisper a new name for Earth. The council did not move at once. In the great hall, screens showed the human face and the empty space where the ghost ship had been. Some members wanted revenge. Some wanted fear. Many wanted to hide behind old rules and paper treaties. Elder, with pale silver skin, tapped his armrest and said nothing. His silence made the room colder. They sent envoys first. A small fleet, fast and quiet, moved toward Earth under the banner of talk and caution. The council wanted words before weapons. They wanted to show strength, but also keep their dignity. They sent a diplomat, a thin, dark-eyed woman who had made treaties and stopped fights for a long time. Her message was simple. Meet us and explain. Do not make this worse. On Earth, the president listened. She did not smile. She remembered the hunter in the dark. She remembered the empty system and the black ship that healed itself. She remembered the sound inside the ghost ship when they fired the silent shot. She had given the warning, but she did not trust words alone. The envoy ship arrived at a border station and asked to meet the president. The council wanted cameras and witnesses. The president agreed, but she had her own terms. The meeting would be in neutral space. No council weapon would be allowed. The envoy agreed, though some in the council called it weakness. The day of the meeting, the neutral zone was full of radios and satellites. Every world that could listen tuned in.
The envoy's ship floated like a dark seed in the bright field of stars.
The human ship arrived quietly, hidden at first, then drifting into view when the cameras were set. The world watched. The two leaders spoke with careful language. The diplomat spoke of laws and responsibility. The president spoke of choice and danger. She said little about weapons. Instead, she told a story. She spoke of why humanity had asked for one ship. She spoke of the long night when Earth had looked up and seen monsters on the edges of known space. She spoke of people who had no help left and of tiny colonies that begged for mercy. The diplomat listened. Her face did not change. Then she sighed and said, "Then act as you wish. But do not think your lone ship can change what the Council holds. You will face more than us. There are forces older than law." The president nodded. She had already known that. She rose and left the meeting early. She did not give the Council any more words. The cameras still had her face for a long time after she left. No one had expected that calm. That same night, the Council's more fearful members spoke without cameras. They called a hidden vote. Some wanted to declare humans a threat and take the ship by force. Others warned that such an action would bind the Council to war with a people who had proven far more dangerous than a single captured vessel. The debate grew hot. Old rivalries surfaced. Old debts were called owed. The elder watched all this. With a face like stone in the dark between the stars, something watched as well. The hunter had felt a touch. It had felt the human shot close and the ship vanish. It was not alone. Its kind whispered through the emptiness. They moved like storms. They test what is ripe to feed. The hunter's silence was not sleep. It was waiting. Back on Earth, engineers never stopped. They tested shields and repaired the jump drive. They trained crews for long raids and for rescue missions. The ghost ship became a school as much as a weapon. Pilots learned to move like ghosts. Scientists learned to read ripples in space. They practiced restraint, and restraint seemed the hardest lesson then. Without warning, the Council's hidden force made its move. A squadron slipped close to the neutral zone. Their orders were not public. They came with nets and magnetic traps and long-range scramblers, devices that could peel open a hull and take control of a ship. Dusk, thinking the humans would be slow, thinking old logic applied. The human captain saw them first on a quiet feed. He called his crew, his voice calm. The president gave 2 words: hold fire. She did not want war. She wanted proof. When the Council squadron closed in, the ghost ship did something the Council had not seen on any battlefield. It moved between the squads like a shadow between candles. No beams, no explosions, only pressure. The squadron's engines died as if the sky itself had become thick. Their systems stuttered and then froze. In minutes, the Council ships were adrift in empty space, powerless but unharmed. Their crews were alive, breathing quietly. A message streamed into every Council channel. It carried no threat. It carried a single line, simple and cold. We showed you mercy. Decide now. Panic filled the Council. They had not expected mercy. They had expected panic, or fury, or a fight. They had not expected a hand that could crush them, but chose not to. The elder slammed his fist on the arm of his chair. He felt something new and dangerous, respect mixed with fear, as the Council scrambled. The president looked at the bridge screens and thought of the hunter beyond. The maps. Mercy had bought time, but time was short. The ghost ship had given the Council a choice. The galaxy had watched. Some worlds began to move their ships closer to Earth. Some sent quiet offers of trade and quiet threats. New names took shape in the rumors of traitors and pirates. On the last line of the day, a small message arrived from deep space. It was not Council or human. It read in a language few ever use now. We remember. The words carried through the nets and froze like ice on glass. The president read them and did not answer aloud. She turned to her captain and said, "Prepare. We either make friends now, or we meet what remembers alone." The ghost ship slid into the dark, and the stars watched with new eyes. The choice hung like a knife above the Council's head. The final move was not made. Storm waiting to break. The storm finally broke. It began with a sound no human had ever heard before, a vibration deep in the fabric of space. Too low for ears, but felt in the bones of anyone nearby. The ghost ship detected it first, long before any Council sensors. The readings were wrong in every way. The signal wasn't a transmission, it wasn't a weapon, but it carried intent. Something was coming, and it was vast. The president was already awake when the alert reached her. She stood at the window of her private office, watching the night sky over the Capitol. "It's not the Council," she said quietly. Them, the captain on the other end, didn't need to ask who them was. He remembered the black hunter ship, the empty worlds, the silence. Across the galaxy, the vibration spread. Council fleets scrambled, pirates fled to deep space, traders shut down routes. Everyone had heard the rumors about predators older than any empire, ships that could erase entire systems without firing a shot. Few believed them until now. When the first of the black ships arrived, it did not come alone. They emerged from folds in space like shadows spilling from a wound. Their hulls swallowed light. No two were the same size or shape, yet all moved. With the same quiet purpose, they ignored the council entirely. Their course was set for one place, Earth. The council sent frantic messages to the president, offering fleets, offering full alliance. The president listened to each one without answering. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady. "We asked for one ship. You thought it was a game. Now you will see why we asked." The ghost ship left orbit for the last time. Its crew was ready, every pilot, every engineer, every soldier trained for this fight. The upgraded jump drive pulsed with energy. The silent weapon deep in its core hummed like a heartbeat. The battle began far from Earth, in the empty stretch of space. Between two uninhabited systems, the black ships closed in from all directions, moving in impossible ways, folding and unfolding space like cloth. The ghost ship did not run. It moved like a predator itself, slipping between their formations, striking with precision. The first shot from the silent weapon hit one of the black ships and froze it mid-turn. It shattered a moment later, breaking into dust that did not drift, but simply vanished. The others reacted instantly, surrounding the human ship. The captain's voice was calm. "Jump pattern 7. The ship blurred and reappeared behind. Its hunters firing railguns that punched through armor the council had believed was invincible. Still, the enemy adapted, moving faster, cutting off escape routes. For hours, the fight twisted through space, jump after jump, strike after strike. The ghost ship's hull burned, its shields flickered, but it kept moving, kept hitting, kept killing. The crew did not shout, did not panic. They worked like a single mind in the council chambers. Leaders watched the live feed in silence. Every time the ghost ship appeared on screen, it was already in motion, already tearing another black vessel apart. Some council members whispered prayers. Others stared as if watching something they could not believe was real. Finally, with only 3 of the hunters left, the captain gave the order no one had expected. "Send the message." A burst of signal went out, not to the council, but directly to the black ships. The words were simple. "We are not prey." The last 3 hunters stopped. For a long moment, they simply floated. Then, without warning, they folded back into the dark and were gone. The battlefield was silent. Debris drifted in places where the black ships had died. The ghost ship hung alone, scarred and smoking, but alive. On Earth, the president stepped to the podium. Her speech was broadcast across the galaxy. "We asked for one ship. That was all we needed. Not to conquer, not to rule, to survive. Galaxy is not safe, but neither is it hopeless. We will stand. And if you stand with us, you will not stand alone." The council chamber remained in total silence long after the broadcast ended. They had offered Earth protection. Now they understood humanity had become the protection far beyond their borders. The hunters spoke among themselves in a language older than stars at stars. They had learned something new, and they would remember it. The ghost ship returned home under a quiet sky, but its crew knew the truth. This was not the end. It was only the first time the galaxy had truly seen what Earth could do.